Hey guys, I just want to share a little more of a personal video and maybe what watch collecting means to me, and also want to pick your brains or emotions in this case of what watch collecting means to you. So with me, I think this is maybe not initially what it started out as, but what it has evolved into is a really good way to connect with others to share a hobby. So recently I went to the Detroit Auto Show, obviously in Detroit, and I happened to, I'm making my rounds, I'm checking all these cool cars and everything, and I am a car guy, but not to the level that maybe I used to be, doing other things, especially with the watches and family and everything, has pulled away from so much of the car focus. And I hopefully this spring I'll get more into it some more with the vehicles. But right now, I couldn't help but, even while I was at the Detroit Auto Show, I was looking on guys' wrist to see what was on wrist. And I couldn't help but see a lot of smartwatches, especially the Apple Watch. But this one moment where I was sitting in a new Toyota Tacoma, because I'm looking at them possibly for my next car further out, or truck, and I'm sitting in this truck, and I don't remember who got in first, but this guy was in there, and we were just talking real quick because I talk. Whoever's next to me, I just talk to him about whatever. I don't care. I'm not shy. So, we were talking about the truck, obviously, and blah blah blah. And it was industry day, so everyone's checking all these things out and researching because they're in the business or whatever. And I noticed when he reached out that his sleeve pulled back and he was wearing an SKX 007. And I instantly called him out on it. I spotted that. I'm like, that's awesome. That's the first time I've seen one in the wild. That's cool that you have that. Turns out the guy's a watch nerd like us. And he's not necessarily a huge Seiko crazy nut like I am, but he's definitely a Seiko fan. And what you're seeing here in the background is actually his father's watch. And because we started talking, we ended up sitting in the front of that Tacoma for probably no less than 30 minutes. And Michael, hopefully you're watching this video, you remember the conversation, and I'm going to share your story. So Michael didn't know who I was. I explained to him, because we're geeking out and everything, and I told him I have this YouTube channel and everything. And he has watched some other YouTube videos from, like, say, some of the other bigger watch channels. Because like him, like us, he also researches watches and everything. So he shared the story about his father's Seiko. And this is he sent me a picture. We exchanged phone numbers and we're texting a little bit. So he sent me a picture of his dad's Seiko. And he associates his dad's watch with, this was the watch that was always on his dad's wrist. So not too long ago, he noticed that his dad wasn't wearing the watch. There's more to the story about how he even acquired it. Actually, I'll touch on it because whatever. It's a story time, all right? So Michael was telling me, I don't remember how long ago, whatever year this watch is, so a while ago. And I might screw up some details, but basically his dad, with a full week's paycheck at the time, went and bought two watches. And it was both the same style, both a light colored dial, this one, and a either dark gray or black or whatever of the same model. And I don't know his reasoning behind it or whatever, but Michael's dad then took both watches to his dad, so it'd be Michael's grandfather, and said, hey, check out these watches. I want you to pick one. So, and I didn't catch Michael's dad's name, but he did this to his dad, Michael's grandfather, and his grandfather picked the black one. So by default, Michael's dad ended up with this lighter colored one, and it's a pinstriped white or silver dial. Not super clear on exactly what model this is and everything. I haven't fully researched it. You guys can chime in. I'm sure you guys someone watching this is probably already on the ball with this. But so Michael associated this watch with his dad. It was he wore it every day. Until not too long ago, and I guess it's from what I'm looking at on pictures online, the dial spins. Because you can see the crown and stem is still in there. At least I assume the stem is still attached inside there. I think what happens is the dial actually spins. I don't know if it was just the glue released on the inside. You know, on these later Seiko ones, they actually have pegs. I think they were just glued before. So I think this might not be too expensive of a repair. And Michael's talking about swiping this from his father and having it repaired. So to add to the story, Michael told me that he was wearing an SNK, I'm not sure, one of the, I don't have it anymore because I sold it, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the SNK, the smaller 5 series one. And Michael was wearing that, and he basically kind of did the same thing to his dad not too long ago. He had 2 watches, and he showed his dad, and his dad basically picked one, and his dad picked the SNK because it's a little bit smaller, closer to this size. So I'm pretty sure Michael's father's wearing that SNK right now, which is, it's just awesome to hear stories like that. So, you know, if you guys have stories like this with your family, or especially your father, you know, we have that connection with, you know, it's a piece of jewelry, it is a watch and everything, but it's just so cool to have that story attached to it and have that connection, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a high-end timepiece. It just has to be a timepiece that means something. And it was very nice of Michael to sit there and talk to me and geek out about watches, but then also share his story with his father's watch and then Michael's watch. And so anyway, if you guys are out and about, you know, that's what the hobby's all about. You know, meeting people. I meet people all the time, especially I have this channel to meet people, but also just in life. I've met some really cool people. If you just take the time to say, hey, nice watch. Sometimes that, hey, nice watch stimulates a conversation, and you might find that other person that you said that to is a watch geek, because we don't know each other. We're all just strangers out there. But sometimes, every once in a while, we'll make that bond, we'll make that connection. And that's what I thrive for, and hopefully that's what you thrive for with this hobby. So give me a story, guys. Give me a story down in the comment, and let's talk about it. Let's expand this hobby and all have a better connection. See you on the next video.